In an exclusive interview with the U.S. Sun, award-winning songwriter Gary Burr acknowledged that writing hit songs for some of the biggest names in the world is not always simple. Numerous hits on the charts by well-known musicians like Christina Aguilera, Reba McEntire, Garth Brooks, Kelly Clarkson, and others are the result of Gary's talent. The Connecticut native recently put his writing abilities to the test by publishing Reunion, a rock and roll fairy tale, a novel that explores what would have happened if the Beatles had gotten back together for a concert that Sir Paul McCartney had planned. Reunion, which captivated audiences with its what-if story of Paul, Ringo Starr, George Harrison, and John Lennon, the original members of the English rock band, reuniting for a one-time performance, took the top spot in Amazon's new releases category. Gary was interviewed exclusively by the U.S. Sun about the intriguing narrative and his partnerships with some of the industry's biggest names. The book, which can be bought on Amazon, was inspired by Gary's long-standing connection with Ringo, the drummer for the Beatles, whose tunes can be heard on 10 of the band's albums. I was bored during COVID-19, so I called Ringo and explained what I was doing. That's how I got the idea, Gary said, and he blessed me as much as he could. I would never advise you not to pursue your artistic goals, he stated. Do you want to read it? I asked. I don't want to read it, he added. I'll simply wait for it to be released before shitting all over it. Gary remembered his pal making a joke. For the SDRs, writing. Although Gary acknowledged that composing songs for the biggest singers in the world is no easy task, he hopes to build a trustworthy relationship with each person he collaborates with. It's really different every time, and yet it's pretty normal, Gary told the U.S. Sun while discussing his writing experience. I mean, you enter and take a seat with one or two others. I spent the most time writing alone. It was simple. I came up with a little tune just before this call. So I took out my guitar, put it on my phone, and recorded it. And if I find it again in the future, I'll say, oh, and work on it to make it into something. But in essence, you have 50 or 60 distinct song ideas, along with a few words and possibly 2 or 3 lines of wordplay on your phone or on your notebook. You have a writing appointment with someone you sort of know what they do, and you wait. So you go through your list and say, well, this guy isn't who this writer is for this idea this side, but this is the kind of idea that he might sink his teeth into. The record producer went on. You both enter concepts into this software, which is metaphorical, and you select one that you are familiar with. We like to make a joke about picking the person who might be eating lunch before 1 o'clock. Gary continued by describing how he has partnered with the best musicians in the business. Gary is a member of the musical trio Blue Sky Writers, whose debut album was released in January 2013. All of the writing companies have a sheet that circulates throughout the community that lists the types of songs they are seeking for and who will be entering the studio. With that sheet in hand, you may sit down and look at it, thinking, oh, so-and-so is looking for a song like this. That guy is appealing to us. That's the kind of tune we write. Let's aim for him. You know, I love writing for a goal because it's a true challenge. We should compose a song that resembles the grassroots. It's enjoyable. After that, you listen to some grassroots music, try to figure out what makes it unique, and then try to write a song that sounds like that. It's really interesting because there are so many different ways to do it, Gary said. He also disclosed that he typically makes them up, and that a large portion of his lyrics are not based on his personal experiences. I've only written one song in my life from personal experience. Really? And it turned out to be probably the biggest hit I ever had. But I learned nothing from the experience, so I still do not write from personal experience, the former member of the Pure Prairie League stated. Although Gary has collaborated with other musicians outside of the country music genre, his tracks are mostly in that genre. Pop and country music sensation Juice Newton's 1982 single, Love's Been a Little Bit Hard on Me, was his first top 10 smash. Gary went on to have 14 number 1 songs, 32 top 40 singles, and 23 more top 10s, which led to his 2005 entry into the National Songwriter Hall of Fame. I Was Here by Lady A, Can't Be Really Gone by Tim McGraw, To Be Loved by You by Wynonna, Cover to Cover by Billy Ray Cyrus, and How About Now by Kenny Loggins are some of the other well-known songs he co